Hello there, grade 11s and 12s. Welcome to Educate. In our previous video, we've been talking about forces. Just a brief introduction. We introduced what a force is, the vector nature of the force. We also talked about the different types of forces, such as non-contact forces as well as contact forces. In this video, we'll now be looking at the diagrams that we use in physics to be able to represent the different types of forces acting on an object. So we have got two types of diagrams to learn in this video. We have got a force diagram as well as a free body diagrams. Both these diagrams, they all try to describe the forces. They all try to mention what forces are acting on an object or what forces are applied on an object, but those diagrams are different from one another. What makes them different? First of all, whenever we talk about force diagrams, we represent an object as a block. So basically here, we represent an object as a block. But in a free body diagram, we represent an object as a dot. So this is the main difference between them. So whenever I want to talk about any object that is experiencing a force, I'm going to use a block for a force diagram, a dot for a free body diagram. But let's look at how that works, okay? So let me just say that I am the object in question right now, and someone comes and pushes me from a side. Maybe someone is pushing me, someone is pushing me. So as that person is pushing me, they're actually applying a force on me, right? So they're applying a force on me. But now I want to use a force diagram to be able to represent the forces that are being applied on me. All right, so I'm not going to draw a human being here and start drawing some arrows around it, but I'm just going to draw a block. So just a block to represent the object. Let me just say that this is a block. Okay, let me just say, since I'm the block here, in this case, I'm the block and I'm top of the ground. So the ground is the surface that I'm on top of. So I'm on top of the ground, which is the surface, right? So basically, we need to know that each and every object that is on Earth experiences the gravitational force, because in our previous video, I just gave you quite a small idea. A gravitational force is the force applied by the Earth on the objects in it. Okay, so whenever you suspend an object into the air and then you let go of it, it's going to eventually go down on its own. It's because the earth is pushing it down towards the surface of the earth. So even if you try to jump and go up, the earth will still push you down. That's why you come down. You are not going to fly and float around. So as long as you are on earth, we say that all the objects are experiencing a gravitational force. So the gravitational force is always acting downwards. So when you say that gravitational force is acting downwards, it simply means that it is acting vertically downwards. Something like this. So it is acting vertically downwards. So when we represent it on a force diagram, we usually write it at the center. So this is not drawn to scale. Let me just try to adjust my diagram. But basically, we usually say that this is your block and then this is the gravitational force. So the gravitational force actually acts downwards. So it means it is that force that is always pushing objects down to the surface of the earth. Even if you try to go up, even if you try to jump, still all the objects will be pushed down to be on the surface of the earth. Otherwise, if we did not have gravity here on earth, we would be flying around, because I'll just go up and start floating and flying and flying. But that is all impossible because we are on earth and gravitational force keeps on pushing us down. So that is the force of the earth. So the gravitational force is otherwise known as the weight. Okay, we can say that is the weight, or you can say that is the gravitational force, but we usually use the weight to represent it. So whenever you talk about weight, how heavy something is, you usually hear them saying the weight is how heavy something is. But basically, the weight is actually the force applied by the earth on an object that is within the earth, of course. But when you go to space and you get out of the earth, you're not going to experience any gravitational force. That is why you are able to just fly around in space. But when you are here on the earth, you will be subjected to a gravitational force which always pushes down all objects. So whenever you think of making the force diagram, you should start with the gravitational force. Now, there's another force that I told you about in the previous video. I said that whenever an object is on top of a surface, the surface applies a normal force on it. So to be able to balance this gravitational force, because this gravitational force is pushing down the object. So the moment this object lands on a surface, or it can be a table or any surface. For example, here I'm on top of a surface, right? I'm on top of the ground in this case, but it can be a table or any surface. as long as you can put an object on top of it, right? So basically, that surface, it applies a gravitational force on the object. So the surface applied a invent. Yeah. Okay. So whenever objects are on top of surfaces, they always experience a normal force, and this is a normal force that is applied by the surface. So the normal force is also applied from the surface, and it goes up. So this is your normal force. We usually use just a capital letter N to represent it. So here, whenever we draw the arrow for the normal force, the arrow for the normal force always starts here at the surface, because basically the normal force is being applied by the surface on the object, so that the object does not continue moving down. Because remember that gravitational force, it causes the object to move down, right? But the moment the object lands on another surface, that surface will be applying a force upward, so that the object does not continue moving down. Okay, so it's more like the surface, it is actually stopping the object from continuing from moving down. So in this case, the surface is my hand. So whenever I take these two markers and I let go of them right now, the gravitational force will push them down, cause them to fall to my hand. But the moment they get to my hand, they will not continue moving down. Why is this marker not continuing to move down? It's because my hand is holding it. That holding is a force, is a normal force that we're talking about in this case. So the normal force will always have it as an object is on top of a surface. But now when we want to draw this using a free body diagram, we are just going to represent this object as a dot. So instead of writing a big block, we just use a dot to represent the object. So the dot here is representing the same object as this one as well. But now we are going to make sure that all forces, we are going to draw them from this dot. So for example, here we have got a normal force that is going upwards. So the normal force must come from the dot and it must go upwards. And we must label it as N to show that it's a normal force, right? And then here we have got a gravitational force, or the weight. The weight is going downwards. But how do you represent it? We're going to represent it straight from this dot as well. So from this dot, we're just going to draw our arrow, and this arrow will go down, and this arrow will represent the what? The weight as well. So you can see that these diagrams, all of them, they are describing force, but the difference here, in a force diagram, we use a box or a block, okay, to represent the object. This is the object that we're talking about. But in a free body diagram, we simply use a dot to represent the object. So for example, if I keep on applying, if I want to apply a new force on this object, let me just say I start pulling my object to the right. Remember guys, that a force is just a push or a pull on an object, right? So basically, if I apply a force, it simply means that I'm pushing the object or I'm pulling the object. Just like this wrapper here, when I'm pulling it this direction, I'm pulling it towards the left, right? So as I'm pulling this object towards the left, it's experiencing a force. Or we can say that a force is exerted to it towards the left. So similarly here, if I say that this is my rubber or this is my object, and I apply a force towards the right, let me just say I'm pushing it towards the right, I'm going to represent the force using an arrow, because remember that a force is a vector quantity. It must have a magnitude and a direction as well. So here the arrow, in a force diagram, the arrow will move from here, from the surface where I'm applying this force. I'm applying the force here, right? So as I'm pushing it or I'm pulling it, is either you are pushing it or you are pulling it. In this case, I'm pulling the object. It's like I'm here and I'm pulling this object in this direction. So basically, I'm applying a force on that direction. Let me just say that this is my force applied. So in a force diagram, whenever I show the force, I'm going to show that this is a pulling force, because it's moving from the object and it's going away. So it means that I'm pulling the object to the right. All right. But if I'm going to a free body diagram, on a free body diagram, I'm just going to start my force here, right at the dot. All the forces, they are tails, because they are vector quantities, right? They've got a head and a tail. So the tail of the arrow representing that force, it always starts at the dot. So here is my force here. This is my force applied. So you can see that this is an arrow representing the force applied, right? Because it's a vector quantity, right? And the tail of that arrow, it starts here, right at the dot. But when you compare it to this one, or of a force diagram, the arrow, it starts here at the block. So this is a pulling force. And now if I want to add a pushing force, let me just say I want to push. If I want to push this object, I want to apply a force that is pushing the object. So let me just say that this is force 2. So this force labeled as F2 is being applied on the object, and it's a pushing force because you can see that the arrow of this force or the arrow of this vector is exactly on the object. It means that I'm pushing the object. Okay, so in a force diagram, it makes sense to say, if I'm going to apply a force, let me just say I'm pushing this object, I'm pushing it to that direction. So the direction of the arrow is facing that direction because that's where I'm pushing the object to. But the head of the arrow is exactly on the block to show that I'm pushing the block. Okay, this is pulling, this is pushing. There's a difference. Pushing is like this, and then pulling is like that. Okay, but when I go and represent this force on a free body diagram, I'm not going to represent it like this, because if I represent the force like this will be incorrect, because from a free body diagram perspective, all the forces, their tails must start here at the dot, exactly at the dot. So here, if I want to describe this force here, which is F2, in a free body diagram, I'm going to draw its tail right here, and I say that this is my force 2. This is my force 2. Okay, so here in a free body diagram, it looks like you are pulling the object, but in fact, you are not actually pulling the object, because a free body diagram, all the forces, they must start from the dot. All the forces, they must emanate from the dot. But in a force diagram, the forces, is possible for a force to start there and end here at the dot to show that you are pushing the block. It's possible for the force to start here and end somewhere else. Okay. As for the normal force is supposed to start at the surface always, because it's a force that is applied by the surface on the object in contact with it. Okay. And then for the gravitational force, it must start at the center of the object, because basically the gravitational force pushes down the object on its center here. So in a force diagram, the forces are just arranged in a haphazard manner. Okay, the forces in a force diagram, they show you where they are starting and where they are ending. But in a free body diagram, all the forces, they must start at the what? They must start at the dot. All the tails of the vectors representing those forces, they must always start at the dot. Because once you start a force here and you say that here is a force, this will be incorrect, because this tail here, this tail of the arrow, or this tip of the arrow, it must be at the dot. So if I want to add another force, let me just say I want to add another force. Let me just say this time I add a diagonal force, and I just say that there is another force here that is going diagonal, and I say that this is my force 3. This is my third applied force. So if I put another third applied force here that is pulling in that direction, on a free body diagram, remember we say that the tail of this force vector, it must exactly be on the dot. So this force 3, whenever I draw it in a free body diagram, I must draw it from the dot. So in this case, this is from the dot. I draw this F3. This is F3. Okay. If I want to add another force, let me just say a pushing force on this side, on this object, and I say that I want to add a pushing force in this, a diagonal pushing force, something like this. Okay, let me just say, okay, let me just push in this direction, right? And let me just say that this is my force number 4. So this force number 4 here is a pushing force, and I'm pushing this block, right? How do I say that's a pushing force? Because in a force diagram, you are able to see that this force is starting somewhere else and it is going towards the block, because the arrow of the forces here, it shows you that you're actually pushing the block. It's like this is my block here, and then I'm here on this side and I'm pushing the block in this direction. I'm pushing the block in this direction. So it's a pushing force, that one. So that one, since it's a pushing force and I want to represent it there on the free body diagram, I'm not going to do something like this. This would be incorrect. This would be incorrect, because basically this arrow, it must never be on the dot. On the dot, we must always have the tail. So here, I'm just going to write this one out, and then I'm going to say that this force, which is F4, this tail here, it must be exactly at the dot. Okay, and then it must go in the original direction. In this case, it's going that direction, so it's going there. So this is my force, which is F4. So there's a difference between the force and the free body diagram. Just to summarize everything, the force diagram, it uses a block to represent the objects. So it's simply a box to represent the objects. Whenever you want to describe gravitational force, it must start at the center of the block and it must go down. Because gravitational force is always acting downwards. It's always pushing the objects down to the surface of the earth. Okay, when you are representing the normal force, it must start at the surface. This is in a force diagram. Okay, this is in a force diagram. So whenever you draw the normal force, it must start at the surface, because we say that the normal force is the force exerted by the surface on an object in contact with it. It's perpendicular, so it must go opposite to this gravitational force, because gravitational force is going down, normal force is going up, exactly up, like vertically up in this way. All right. And then when we talk about the force that is pulling an object, whenever you are pulling an object, I repeat again, grade 11s and 12s, the force starts here at the block in a force diagram, and it goes to wherever you are pulling the object to. You are pulling it, you are donza. That is pulling. Okay. This FA here is a pulling force because it is starting at the block and is going away from the block. This F3 here is also a pulling force because it's starting at the block and it is pulling away from it. It's like you are pulling the block, pulling it. This is pulling, right? And then a pushing force, whenever you are pushing in a force diagram, the tail must be somewhere else and the head must be on the block to show that you are pushing towards the block. You are pushing the block. So this force is starting somewhere else, and then the arrow of the force, this arrow of the force, it must be exactly on the block to show that you are pushing. Okay, even this F4 here is a pushing force. You are pushing this block, because remember that, guys, a force is a push or a pull on an object. So in this case, whenever you are introducing force F4, you can see that its tail is somewhere else. So the force is starting somewhere else and its head is exactly on this block. So this head being on this block, it shows you that you are pushing the block, you are pushing down the block, or this object here, because all the objects, we just represent them using a box in a force diagram. But when it comes to a free body diagram, again, I summarize. In a free body diagram, one thing that you need to know, all the forces, they must start at the dot. So we represent the object as a dot, and all the forces must start at the dot. So we don't expect to see any force having a head here at this point. This will be incorrect for a free body diagram. It will be correct for a force diagram to show that you are pushing the object, but for a free body diagram, all the forces, they must start, or all the forces, they must come from the dot. So the first thing that you do is to draw a big dot before you start drawing your free body diagram. Draw a big dot, and after drawing a big dot, the tail of each force, because force is a vector, you're going to represent it using arrows like this, right? Arrows and arrows and arrows. So here, the weight is starting at the dot, going down. Okay, here F3 is starting at the dot, going in that direction. Here FA is starting at the dot, going in that direction. Look at F2. F2 here, it is a pushing force on a force diagram, but on a free body diagram, you are not able to see that, because basically the tail of F2 must start here at the dot and it must go wherever direction this force is headed to. Okay, so just in summary, this is all about free body diagrams versus force diagrams. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends also. Stay tuned.